It is 1400 Central African Time. It is an exciting 180 minutes journey to destination 1700 Central African Time. It is terrific to be in your company. Thank you for choosing Africa at Play. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you're here in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from anywhere in the world on channelafrica.co.za. A big thank you to our audiovisual streaming team, Mike Mokwena, together with Butibi Hlongwane, and our social media guru, Dumise Lema. I wouldn't forget our technical operator, Francis FM Masina, and my producer, Andisiwe Fagimaluzobona Mali. And from the rest of the Africa at Play team, thank you for listening. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati, Konyangazi, Mumka, Jwapandle Kunjani, Moyani, Vuguvugu Tendele. Africa at Play, Astelele Siashaya. What's coming up on Africa at Play?
I like to look at it as I play the game nice and hard. I play it with my heart. Obviously with the goal in mind of playing for the Proteas, it was never like my performances.
Definitely an important pre-season fixture for us as Kaizer Chiefs. A fixture that introduces us to everybody to our strategic direction that we're taking as a club in terms of our preparation.
It's a revenge game for us. Since they took it away from us on penalty the last time, we're here to revenge. It's a good game for our pre-season. We were third on the league of our professional league.
(14:02 Central African Time). This is Africa at Play. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you're here in South Africa. Alternatively, you can access us from anywhere in the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. Please do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook the name of our station, Channel Africa. Should you miss out on any of our conversations, please do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on Programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you can click on More to access those important conversations that you might have missed out on. By any time you have time to do so, you can listen to them. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. They both have a rich history of glory. Amakosi tackled the Porcupine Warriors. This is the Toyota Cup. Giants refuse to fall. The South collides with the West. This massive clash between Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa and Ghana's Asante Kotoko is slated for Saturday, the 26th of July at 1500 Central African Time. Speaking from the press conference on Thursday at the Kaizer Chiefs village in Naturena, south of Johannesburg, is Kaizer Chiefs marketing manager Jessica Mutawung, together with Asante Kotoko chairman Edmund Aua Asafu Ajaye ahead of this big clash.
Thank you and welcome to the Kaizer Chiefs Village. But most importantly, I'd like to welcome everybody to our new facility here, which is our Kaizer Chiefs Cafe, and we are hosting our first media briefing here. So welcome to that and enjoy the facilities that we have here. Thank you so much. Yes, Tabiso, the Toyota Cup. Definitely an important pre-season fixture for us as Kaizer Chiefs. A fixture that introduces us to everybody to our strategic direction that we're taking as a club in terms of our preparation. And really designed to be a competition that allows us to showcase what we're doing for the season. But most importantly, we say the Toyota Cup unites Africa. And it's uniting African clubs, African supporters, and African culture. And last year, as you said, we played against young Africans from Tanzania. And this year, we'll be announcing our team who come from West Africa, and we're very, very excited about that. But most importantly, I think it's important to say that the Toyota Cup really is about solidifying our relationship with Toyota, a partner who have supported us through thick and thin, and who've really strengthened the relationship through the Toyota Cup. It allows us to leverage our relationship commercially, as well as to reward our supporters. You remember last year we had, and you saw through the visuals, one of our supporters won a car, and this year I'm excited to say Toyota will repeat that. So very excited about that. And again, we go to the cities that love football. And this year we will be in Durban, the city of Durban, who are our home of football at its best. And I'm very excited that we'll be in the city of Durban playing the Toyota Cup. But I think without further ado, everybody is waiting for the team that we will be playing this year. And I am proud and privileged to announce that we will be playing Asante Kotoko from Ghana, a team that we as Kaizer Chiefs have had a relationship with. We've played them in the Vodacom Challenge many. We've even had some players from the Ghanaian outfit play here in the Kaizer Chiefs jersey. So I'd like to welcome our visitors from Asante Kotoko and say we're excited to be playing with the team and to also be building our diplomatic relationships further as South Africa with the Ghanaian nation. And I think we can give that a round of applause. We look forward to them taking the stage and sharing what they feel about being in South Africa. But really, this is a tournament that showcases African talent, showcases African brands, and celebrates African football. And we're excited to play Asante because also we're the two teams who will be playing in the Confed Cup. Hopefully we won't meet too early in the tournament. With that said, I'd like to welcome you all to the Kaizer Chiefs Village and look forward to hosting a fantastic tournament.
We also have the chairman of Asante Kotoko, Mr. Edmund Asafu Ajay. But not only that, he's also a chief of the kingdom of the people of Ashanti. We welcome the chief of Ashanti, Nana Apinkra. The chief is also here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are looking forward to a wonderful tournament as South Africa returning to South Africa. Chief, welcome back to South Africa. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you very much. As you know, Kumasi Asante Kotoko is Ghana's most decorated football club, history in everything, with the most millions of fan base in Ghana. We are glad to be part of the Toyota competition, and it's a revenge game for us. Since they took it away from us on penalty the last time, we're here to revenge. And it's a good game for our preseason. We were third on the league, of our professional league, and we've doing some new signings to up the game. We won the FA Cup, and since both of us are going for the Confederation Cup, it's a very good opportunity to test our strength. And also, we're here to do good work, give you a big introduction of Kumasi Asante Kotoko as it used to be. We've won the Champions Cup for 2 times. The FA Cup, we've won it for 12 times, 25 times in the league also. And with a great fan base, mostly in Ghana, and we can tell you about 65% of Ghana's population is Kotoko supporters. Yes. Kotoko is a great team historically and currently. We've been through ups and downs just like Kaizer Chiefs, but we're using this opportunity to revamp everything we have. Now that we're going to Africa, we could say we're going to make an impact. We're doing an impact to the Cup, Confederation Cup we're going to do. So take a look for us, and we're happy to be here. We'll be joining you with our team as the preseason goes on, engaging others also. So thank you very much. The king of Ashanti, His Royal Highness Osei Tutu II, he is the life patron of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and he is the king of Ashanti. I am a chief in Ashanti, a town called Kontompo-Niafere, which is the airport area of Kumasi.
Tell us about the slogan, what it means, that slogan of Asante Kotoko.
Yes, the slogan of Asante Kotoko is Ukum Apema Apembeba. That is when you kill 1,000, we have 1,000-fold following. So since you fortunately or unfortunately through the cup the other time, now we're bringing in 1,000-fold to take back our glory.
Okay, thank you. And so what he's saying is that if you score 4, Jess, they will score 5. Kill 1,000. 1,000 will arise. Yeah, they are back in South Africa. Wonderful. Takes us back to those glory days of the Vodacom Challenge. The Warriors, the Kings of Kumasi, Asante Kotoko.
14:10 Central African Time. It is a big occasion that is coming up at the Toyota Cup between South Africa's Kaizer Chiefs and Asante Kotoko of Ghana. We take a short break. When we come back, we're going to connect with the public relations officer of Asante Kotoko, a decorated outfit in West Africa, Ghana, and they finished third in the recently concluded season. They will be playing in the CAF Confederation Cup just as Kaizer Chiefs will be, so it's going to be a good conversation. Mr. Duku is a seasonal legal media practitioner and a communication expert, and we're looking forward to that conversation after this short break.
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective. Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126. And we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am, you know.
It's not just talk. It's your chance to air your views. Share your opinion. Engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. You heard something you like on Channel Africa, and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast, Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
14:13 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are also welcoming to Africa at Play Samuel Safo Duku, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Ghanaian Giants in football, Asante Kotoko. Mr. Duku, a very good afternoon. And a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I like the energy already. It tells a story that Asante Kotoko is super ready for the 26th of July, a big clash against South Africa's Kaizer Chiefs, two of great giants in African football. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. Talk to us about what does this Toyota Cup mean for the Asante Kotoko fans.
Thank you, and greetings to all your listeners around the globe, especially in South Africa and in Ghana. We are privileged and honored to once again been invited to play in this all-important cup. We see it as another great opportunity for Asante Kotoko Sporting Club to showcase the talents that we have, to prove to the entire African continent that indeed we are one of the best on the African soil. Because we have won all that is it to be won in the Ghanaian community. And then in Africa, on two occasions, we were champions of club championship, now Champions League. We played in 7 grand finals in various club competitions in Africa. And so, once again, we'll come and prove to South Africans and the entire African continent that we are still one of the best in football.
Mr. Duku, you've got an interesting relationship with Kaizer Chiefs as a club in Africa. You used to play against them in the Vodacom Challenge, and here you are back again in South Africa to now play in the Toyota Cup. Speak to us a little about your relationship with Kaizer Chiefs and how important is it for African clubs to have this kind of healthy relationships where you would even be able to trade players amongst the two teams?
Well, we also see Kaizer Chiefs as one of the giants on the African soil. And apart from that, Ghana and South Africa have very strong ties. And then the Asante Kingdom, which has Otumfuo Opoku as the second as the spiritual head, the occupant of the Golden Stool, also has some strong ties with the South African chieftaincy system. And so we see this as a great opportunity to renew our long-standing cultural and traditional ties. We see this as a great opportunity to come together, to forge valuable contacts, and to establish strong ties for our mutual benefits, not only in football, but in terms of the other aspects of life, economy, chieftaincy, and other traditional issues. So we value it so much, and we are attaching all the seriousness to this all-important game.
Asante Kotoko Sporting Club, just like Kaizer Chiefs, have had their own ups and downs, so to put it. You finished third in the 2024-2025 season and now building up a solid side for the upcoming 2025-2026 season. Kaizer Chiefs also have had their own ups and downs, although they've won the Nedbank Cup. Talk to us about some of the new signings. I know for sure you've signed the likes of goalkeeper Haruna Dari Aziz, Zakaria Fuweni, Hubert Gayu, and Johnson Opong Owusu, amongst others. But who are some of the players that you believe will be a strong force in the new season to help Asante Kotoko to go back to the decorated glory days?
Yes, I would agree with you that in recent years, things have not been so smoothly for us. In those days, Kotoko will come to the African stage, get to the semi-finals or the finals. But quite recently, I remember that our best has been getting to the group stage somewhere in 2018 when we played in the Confederations Cup. And I'm sure that Kaizer Chiefs have also suffered a similar fate. But now, looking at the things that we are putting in place, and with this competition that is bringing the two clubs together, truly, it is a call on us to sit down, brainstorm, and then restructure and put things in order so that we'll come back to our glory days and belong to where we ought to belong. The signings that you have made, these are players who have proved themselves in the Ghanaian local league. They have track records, and we believe that with their inclusion, the team at Asante Kotoko will be strengthened enough to be able to compete for any trophy that will come our way this season. And we are starting with the President Cup, which we'll be competing for with our bitterest rivals in Ghana, Accra House of Folk. Next on the list will be the Toyota Cup. Obviously, we'll come and take it and bring it back to Ghana. We will also play in the Champion of Champions with the winners of the league, the Biani Stars. That will be on the 31st of August, 2025. And then finally, the local league will resume. And then we also move into the Confederations Cup, where we hope that, come what may, we should be able to advance to the group stage, progress to the next stage, and then get to the finals and see what happens. So we are very much aware of how things have gone not so well for us. But this year, we are going all out to revamp the team. In fact, we may sign 2 or 3 players in addition to what we have so far brought into the team. So we expect 2 or 3 more players somewhere next week. The announcement will come.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to Mr. Samuel Safo-Duku, who is a seasonal legal media practitioner and communications expert who serves under a big giant in Ghana, that is Asante Kotoko, as the public relations officer. Mr. Duku, please do stay on the line. We take a short break. When we come back, we will continue our conversation with Mr. Duku, the public relations officer of Ghanaian football giants Asante Kotoko Sporting Club. This is Africa at Play. Astelel Siashai.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel Africa.
Ok.
Adivinha só, a Channel Africa quer ajudar o Ntivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel Africa está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
9 to 12 midday, Central African Time. On the Move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushatami.
Should influencers be expected to be impactful in society? If there is a social or societal conversation that goes up, should we be waiting eagerly to hear what the influencers have to say?
They are more than just entertainers. They are thought leaders to some certain degree. They influence culture, they influence people's thought processes, they set trends, they shape opinions of people. And the sad reality is, although a lot of them don't want to accept it, I think we're getting better with them realizing that embarking in that journey and in that space comes with a certain level of responsibility.
I see it differently in that, professionals are really good at their job, but there is an optionality that they might have to use the position that they hold in society to be able to deliver a message. This year you made the example of actors and actresses. So the same could apply to a sportsman. Just because someone's good at soccer doesn't mean that they have to have an influence over society from a specific standpoint.
Keeping you on the know and on the move. 180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
14:23 Central African Time. This is Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can access us from anywhere in the world online on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. We still have an exciting football conversation with a West African giant representing Asante Kotoko Sporting Club. We are talking to Samuel Safo-Duku, who is the public relations officer, and he is a seasonal legal media practitioner and communications expert. And we're throwing forward to the big occasion, the Toyota Cup, between the two giants, Southwest versus West. That is Kaizer Chiefs versus Asante Kotoko. Mr. Duku, thank you so much for staying on the line. Let's continue with our conversation. I like it when you say you will come to South Africa and collect the Toyota Cup, then go back to Ghana and continue with the business of the day, preparing for the new season. You will be on the Confederation Cup, same as Kaizer Chiefs. And I'm just thinking, if one is a good prophet, maybe you might actually meet Kaizer Chiefs again in the CAF Confederation Cup. Talk to us about the excitement of the Asante Kotoko fans going back to the CAF Confederation Cup, which Kaizer Chiefs is going back to as well.
They are super, super excited. And they wish that they will get a chance to come and watch this great event. Unfortunately, we cannot travel with some of our supporters. We may come with 1 or 2 or 5, but we know that there are a lot of Ghanaians in South Africa who are also gearing up to support us to be able to beat Kaizer Chiefs. We know that Kaizer Chiefs will be at their comfortable bargain, but hey, they should be careful. Asante Kotoko has always been Asante Kotoko. In spite of the recent decline, we are still Asante Kotoko, the great Asante Kotoko. It will be interesting to meet Kaizer Chiefs again in the Confederation Cup. So we are not playing with this first encounter. The results that will be gotten in this match will have an impact in the second encounter should we meet again. So we are not taking, we are not leaving any stone unturned. We want to beat them here, and so that should we meet them again in the Confederations Cup, the results in this first half will just be a morale booster for Asante Kotoko to beat them again. Over here, our fans are more excited, and they think that it is Kotoko who should be participating in some of these international games. And so we are once again, we are having the bragging rights over our biggest rivals, House of Oak, that we are invited and not House of Oak. Also, we are waiting for the D-Day. Hopefully, we'll be there early enough to continue with some of these media engagements to excite the fans both home and abroad. And we are looking forward to a very interesting encounter.
Mr. Dugu, how did you first get involved in football?
As a young boy, the moment you begin to enjoy football is Kotoko, because I'm an Asante, and Asante Kotoko is one of the spirits of the Asante Kingdom. So we are born into it right from infancy. We begin to support the team in red colors, and so straight from infancy you are there already.
The relationship between South Africa and Ghana is quite a solid one. If you remember back in 2010 during the FIFA World Cup, Ghana was also part of that FIFA World Cup, the first on African soil. And when South Africa was booted out of that World Cup, then the focus started shifting to supporting the Black Stars of Ghana. And I remember the South Africans even changed the nickname of the Ghana national football team from the Black Stars to Bagana Bagana in the absence of Bafana Bafana. And unfortunately, Asamoah Gyan missed that important penalty that could have taken Ghana to one step forward. To, we don't know, maybe, things would have changed and Ghana would have been the first African country to win the FIFA World Cup. But I also want to bring onto the occasion the fact that, the Black Queens of Ghana, the Ghana Women's National Football Team, will be playing against South Africa's Banyana Banyana at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, kicking off on the 5th of July, concluding on the 26th of July. Your thoughts on the Black Queens of Ghana up against South Africa's Banyana Banyana?
Well, let me start from the 2010 World Cup. The moment any Ghanaian hears of that World Cup, then the mood of that Ghanaian will change. It is something that we don't want to hear of it again because of how close we came into making history by becoming the first Ghanaian, the first African team to reach the semi-finals. Later on, I think that Morocco will come and do that. But if Asamoah Gyan had converted that penalty, Ghana would have been the first country in Africa to reach that stage. Unfortunately, we couldn't. So it's something that we want to forget about it. But hey, we can't forget the support that we enjoy from South Africans. I know that Ghana and South Africa have enjoyed very good relationship over the years. And we hope that it will continue. There are so many South Africans here in Ghana and so many Ghanaians in South Africa doing so well in life. Bayana and the Black Queens, as a Ghanaian, I will always root for my team. But I always say that the better side should emerge, even though I will go for my country. I hope that these encounters will strengthen the strong ties between both countries beyond football.
If you have just joined us, we are wrapping up a conversation with a great gentleman who's devoted his life to the beautiful game of football, Mr. Samuel Safo Duku from Ghana, who is the public relations officer of Ghanaian Giants Asante Kotoko. He is a seasonal legal media practitioner and communications expert. Mr. Duku, before I let you go, as a seasonal legal media practitioner and communications expert, what are some of the highlights of your career, and what is your career all about?
Thank you very much. I've been a media practitioner for over 25 years, and it's been so interesting. I'm also a legal practitioner, and I've practiced for 12 years as a lawyer in Ghana. So combining media and legal practice, it hasn't been easy because of the stress and the pressure in it. But because I enjoy both, I take it as a God-given talent. So I really enjoy when I have such media engagements. And it's been really good talking to you. I hope that it will not end here. We'll have the opportunity to share ideas on events in both countries. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That is Mr. Samuel Duku. Mr. Duku, final one from me. Just your thoughts on the state of the Black Stars of Ghana. We've known them to be a powerhouse in African football, but we've seen sometimes the wheels coming off and not witnessing the Black Stars that we've known them to be. And now with the Africa Cup of Nations coming up in December, I'm certain the Ghanaians would want the Black Stars to show the continent what the Black Stars are made up of.
Yes, honestly, after the exit of that golden generation, which had the lives of Martinesian, Sule Ali Munchari, Asamoah, who nearly made us proud by reaching the semi-finals of the 2010 World Cup. I think that after the exit, we've been struggling a bit. So I would say that we are now rebuilding, trying to get players who will replace the golden age generations. Unfortunately, things have not been good for us, and we are hoping that we will have another Black Stars that will be formidable enough to change the fortunes of the country. Because after winning 4 African Nations Cups, our last one being somewhere in 1982, we have come close, I will admit, but I would still refer to those chances to the golden age. It's not been all that good, but I hope that with the current crop of players, given 2 or 3 years, we will come back to our glorious days.
Samuel Safo Duku, a seasonal legal media practitioner and communications expert, serving as the public relations officer for the Ghanaian football giants Asante Kotoko, who finished 30 in the recently concluded 2024-2025 season and building up a solid side for the upcoming 2025-2026 season. In July, they will be in South Africa, eThekwini in Durban, to play against Southern African giants Kaizer Chiefs in the Toyota Cup second edition, after Kaizer Chiefs played against Young Africans in the inaugural edition in 2024. Mr. Duku, thank you so much for an incredible conversation. Have an awesome afternoon. All the best to Asante Kotoko.
Thank you so much, and it's been a great pleasure having me on the show. I thank you all.
Thank you indeed. 14:34 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. Do make time to visit our Channel Africa website and check out programs and click on Africa at Play to check out the conversations that you might have missed out on. And by all means, you've got the right to listen to them when you have time to do so. Also, to get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1, and on Facebook at the name of our station, Channel Africa. It is time for awesome sounds of African music, a double play in music. If it was sport, it would be a double header. Tiwa Savage featuring Ira Star, and the song is titled Gara, together with Vitoni Tempo, who is from Ojos, Lagos, Nigeria, and hails from the Osu local government area of Imo State. Don Oliver and Rema, titled Soweto. This is Africa at Play. Astelele Siashaya.
Uba, what am I say?
Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some Lucifer knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda, as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Mariamo Kumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepu Kholikweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Mariamo Kumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge.
41 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We have an exciting topic of the day under the umbrella of football on the African continent. And this topic, not only does it refer to African football, but it is a global topic. Most African football clubs have nicknames such as Amakosi, Kaizer Chiefs, Masanda Wana, Mamelodi Sundowns, Go Buju Go, Simba Bora, Daima Mbele, Nyuma Mwiko, Young Africans, Power 90, Power Dynamos of Zambia, and many more across the African continent. How did these nicknames come about, and how did they help, or how do they help fans rather to identify with their teams? And what is your favorite nickname? What is your favorite team's nickname? You can drop us your WhatsApp voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126. Let's now go to Zambia in Lusaka, where our correspondent Namuchana is unpacking this topic with the football pundits in Zambia. Do drop us your WhatsApp voice note. That number again is +27 63 406 9126.
Most African football teams have nicknames such as Amankosi, Kaizer Chiefs in South Africa, Go Buyo Go, Simba Football Club from Tanzania, Nyuma Mwiko, Young Africans from Tanzania, Powerful Power Dynamos in Zambia, and many more. We are asking, how did these nicknames come about, and how do they help soccer fans identify with their teams, and what is your favorite team's nickname? I have with me Mr. Simata, former Football Association of Zambia president. Mr. Simata, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. Today we are looking at nicknames in football. At the other time, Mr. Simata, we were looking at nicknames of some footballers, but today we are looking at football teams and their nicknames. We want to find out, Mr. Simata, how did these nicknames come about, and how do they help fans identify with their teams, and what is your favorite team's nickname?
Nicknames of teams in Africa. I will confine myself to Zambia. The little I can still remember, and the arguments that there's been over these nicknames, and I don't think I can even go into who started what, but at least give what is my recollection and even information on some of them, on how they arose. And I will not discuss all of them, but they come and go. In the beginning, I want to say two things, and very, very important. Number one, nicknames arose from civic pride. What in the days before us was that most teams in Zambia arose from tribal groupings. In fact, somebody has done a thesis on them, which I have, showing exactly that they were named or nicknamed because of the principal tribes that revolved around them. When we come into independence, it moved from tribalism, civic. So you found people who are in Ndola would support largely in Dollar United. People who are in Kabwe were Kabwe Warriors, later Kabwe United, or almost at the same time. People in Kitwe, Kana or Ro Kana. Ro actually was the language of the mines. The local name was in Kana and Kitwe United. After that, Power Dynamos came along. If you go to Chingola, it was always in Changa Rangers. You go to Chinilawombwe, up north, south of Congo DR. The principal team there was Bancroft Blades, later renamed Lawombwe Konkola Blades. Konkola is the mine, but Blades is part of the name. It wasn't a nickname. Then you come into Mfurila. There was Mfurila Wanderers, Mfurila Blackpool. So people basically revolve around the civic area. If you came to Lusaka, it was City of Lusaka or Lusaka Tigers. You then go into the community of servicemen, defense and security. You had Zambia Army before, and the later named Green Buffaloes. You had Red Arrows from the airmen, things like that. So other than civic, thing that I want to emphasize here is that the second thing that why teams end up having nicknames or being popularized, I think the press in this country has played a tremendous influence in coming up with nicknames. You found a team like Zanaco was named Sensational because it came from nowhere. I mean, amateur ranks right through. They are still in the second tier of Zambian football. They won one of the big cups here, if I remember correctly, the BP. So Sensational started kind of following them. Even their stadium was named by a friend of mine, Gerard Mulonda, in the times of Zambia. When they built it, the main stand, the grandstand faces east, which is our sunset. So you find the media played major development. Magnificent Warriors. There was a year they dominated this country's football. I think they won everything, close to everything. So they were magnificent. Magnificent is actually a point after excellence. We don't use it very much in our common language now. There is good, there is better, there is best, there is excellent, then there's magnificent. So the nicknames here do not derive from much. But let's go through the nicknames. And I'll start from the upper north. You have Konkola Blades. And then the nickname is actually Sharp. And then they say Sharp Laser in the local language, but they will say Sharp Blades. And Sharp means just that a blade should be able to tear into anything. If we come down to Rangers, that is in Chingola. That's been the team of that town, and a lot of people from Chingola rally behind it. It has a nickname called Brave Rangers. Now you wonder why? Because they are. Otherwise they would have been Coward Rangers, something like that. So being a ranger meant you had to be brave. You go out there in the bush, you could be attacked by any wild animal, or even your enemies. And the ranger normally will be the front, like the scout or the guide. Yeah. If you came into Mufurira, it was mighty Mufurira Wanderers. And it has earned that name actually because they've been everywhere. They've been in continental cups, they've been in local cups, they have been in the league, though up and down recently. However, they have a lot of respect in the football fraternity. And that name signifies that respect. And they had a slogan in the old days where they won in the evenings. When you played against them, you led 3-0. The last 10 minutes, you'll go home 4-3. Bawine Chungulo. There was Blackpool there, but I don't remember any nickname except Poo, which was a short of the name itself, Frila Blackpool. We come down into Kitwe. Traditionally, I don't remember growing up in Kwacha, the township and Buchi, which houses Kitwe's Buchi Stadium, that they had a nickname, except sometimes we call them United. But as a matter of fact, it did unite, especially the council areas, Chimoemwe, Kwacha, Buchi, Kamitondo. But Nkana was Rokana, United. Then it became, when they spelled in the correct form, Nkana, after the local chief. I think whose area that town has taken up. But with Nkana came football club, came Red Devils, principally because there are a lot of Manchester United supporters. So United, Rokana United, and then Nkana Football Club, they nicknamed themselves themselves Red Devils. There is one where there's a lot of argument on Kalampa. Now, Kalampa is a cramp, the way a cramp holds. And principally this name became popular nickname when they started winning the league in 1982 for the first time, and they went on to win it in 1983. So supporters then began to feel that they had cramped the league title and it was theirs. Our Dynamos, principally their color is yellow and yellow. But the change of words that I would like most of you to appreciate is power dynamos. And I'm reliably told that dynamo is what helps create power. It's like it's a play of words, power dynamos. And they were sponsored from the beginning by Copperbelt Power Company, later CEC Energy. We went into Ndola, we found Ndola United. I don't remember any nickname. And then we went into Luansha, we found Ron United, later popularized as Stylish, basically after their play. If you've watched Barcelona a couple of years ago, they played a kind of game where you really appreciated their pass work, their ball possession. That was Ron United. Coming up here, you get to the capital, Lusaka. There were two major clubs, somewhere in the leagues of Zambia, but not the top tiers. A city of Lusaka, city ya moto. Moto meant fire, I don't know what Lusaka Tigers was called, but that time you found that city had a nickname. Later, Zambia Army or Green Buffaloes Football Club, Zambia Air Force or Red Arrows Football Club all came up. Lusaka Dynamos were called the elite, principally because they had a lot of university students playing for the team. So nicknames have come from different and various places. Maybe I should even do further research on the latest teams that exist and to find out what their nicknames are. But as you remember, or no, a nickname either is to show pride of somebody or to call them a bad word.
Mr. Smata, thank you so much for having taken time to talk to us. That was Mr. Smata talking to us today. Today we were looking at African football teams that have nicknames such as Amankosi, Kaizer Chiefs of South Africa, Go Buju Go, Simba Football Club of Tanzania, Nyuma Mwiko, Young Africans, Powerful Power Dynamos of Zambia, and many more. We were asking how did these nicknames come about. We were asking how do they help fans identify with their teams and what is your favorite team's nickname. We had Mr. Smata, former Football Association of Zambia president for Channel Africa Sports. Namchana from Zambia.
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to paradise.
Listen to The Upside with Tebogo Lekweleni and Mateko Musito. Right here on Channel Africa. We bring you good energy, real conversation, inspiring voices, and everything you need to power through your afternoons. This is where fresh perspective meets African optimism, because there's always a brighter side of your day. On The Upside, only on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Proudly African and fabulous.
9 to 12 midday, Central African Time. On the Move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushatama.
Dr. Anthony Ajayi, a leading researcher at the African Population and Health Research Center in Kenya, ending mistreatment and building dignity for adolescents during childbirth. Mistreatment and what's happening with these pregnant young girls. Let's talk a little bit about how the health system responds to that.
It's currently not a major priority for the health system in general, even for the departments of health or the ministries of health on the continent, and it should be because what is healthcare if it's not offered with dignity? Because young people can challenge this mistreatment themselves. If they are aware of their rights, they should be able to have channels to report mistreatment and seek redress, and that's really important. Neglect, abuse are unacceptable in the health facility.
Keeping you on the know live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time.
14:54 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, this is Africa at Play. Welcome. We are together until 5 p.m. Central African Time. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from any corner of the world on channelafrica.co.za. Also available on SABC+. Let's recap on the action in the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup, where we got to see in match day 3 of 3 in group stages, Seattle Sounders went down by 2-0 against PSG, and Atletico Madrid beat Botafogo by 1-0. Porto played to a 4-4 draw against Al Ahly of Egypt. A good fight there by North Africans. Inter Miami and Palmeiras also played to a 2-2 draw. Auckland City played to a 1-1 draw against Boca Juniors. Benfica beat Bayern Munchen by 1-0. And ES Tunis of Tunisia went down to the Blues Chelsea by 3-0. LAFC and Flamengo played to a 1-1 draw. Borussia Dortmund beat Ulsan by a narrow 1-0 win. Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa played to a dull 0-0 draw against Fluminense, and that's how they got to bow out of this competition. Urawa Reds went down by 4-0 against Monterrey, and Inter beat River Plate by 2-0. Juventus went down by 2-5 against Manchester City, a 7-goal thriller. Wydad Athletic Club went down by 2-1 against Al Ain, and Al Hilal beat Pachuca by 2-0, and RB Salzburg went down by 3-0 against Real Madrid. And the round of 16 kicks off today. Palmeiras will line up against Botafogo at 1800 Central African Time. Benfica against Chelsea at 2200 Central African Time. And tomorrow we've got PSG from France against Inter Miami at 1800 Central African Time. Flamengo will take on German giants Bayern Munchen by 2200 Central African Time, and that match is also taking place tomorrow. We will continue to bring you up to speed with regards to different sporting action that is taking place across Africa and globally. For now, we've got a voice note from Taurai Jani from Simbabora, who is commenting on today's topic. Let's find out what are his thoughts.
Hi, Neto. Thanks. We are Simbabora. We are the Simbabora fans, and we love our team Simbabora. So good. We are so linked to the saying "Go Buju Go." Our president, Dr. Simbara Shendoro, he carries the name Buju from the popular icon reggae artist Buju Banton. From his background and his brother, they have been big fans of Buju Banton from word go, from their childhood. So I've told you before, we have grown together during our teens. So we have associated Buju to him. So as the team started, as the idea grew, many people were giving him the energy, the power, encouraging him to work with the team, to go with the team. So it was now a tag that go Buju go Buju go. Let's do it, Buju. Let's work, Buju. Let's have the team. So from that time it grew, and now Go Buju Go is a tagline, and it relates to our team. Thank you.
14:58 Central African Time. Do drop us your thoughts via WhatsApp or voice note on the number +27 63 406 9126, where we want to find out your thoughts about your favorite team's nickname, but also how did some of these nicknames come about. The number is +27 63 406 9126. We will be talking to our teenager in sport, a boxer, Sonela Mbombo, who is a dedicated and incredibly talented athlete who has earned the honor of representing the Western Cape at the national championships from the 2nd to the 6th of July. Sonela is 18 years and will be turning 19th on the 12th of November. We take a short break. When we come back, we will have the teenager in sport conversation with our teenage sensation, Sonela Mbombo.
África. Conhece o Ntivani?
Claro que sou eu.
Ntivani é o amante da música de corpo e alma.
Eu amo música africana.
Ele aprecia todos os tipos de melodias e passa os seus dias a ouvir a Channel África. Adivinha só, a Channel África quer ajudar o Tivani e os amantes da música em todo o lado a descobrir ainda mais música incrível. Por isso, a Channel África está a convocar artistas africanos a submeterem as suas músicas. Músicos, lembrem-se de nos dar todas as informações relevantes no music@channelafrica.co.za. As submissões são a vossa oportunidade de ser ouvidos, mas não garantem inclusão na lista. Todas as submissões serão cuidadosamente analisadas para verificar se cumprem os requisitos da nossa estação. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
You like what we do on Channel Africa? Then follow us on our socials. Channel Africa 1 on all social pages. And get the African perspective. Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
1500 Central African Time. This marks the special hour, a conversation with our teenage athletes. And today we are blessed with a conversation with a teenage sensation in boxing. That is Sonela Mbombo, who is an 18-year-old who will be turning 19 later in the year in November. And of course, we will also be touching base with Sonela's coach, that is Coach Felix Venganayi. Let's now welcome our teenage sensation, our special guest, Sonela, to this conversation. Sonela, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, and you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. Let's also welcome to the conversation Coach Felix Venganai. Coach, good afternoon and welcome to Africa at Play.
I'm good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Lovely stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Sonela, let's kick off the conversation with you. When did you meet boxing?
When did I start boxing?
Yes, Sonela?
I started boxing when I was 8 years old. Can't remember which year, but I was 8 years old when I started boxing.
And what drew your attention to the sport of boxing? Because as we know, historically, it's a male-dominated sport, and it's always good to see the sheroes like yourself that says, I also want to be part of the sport that is so titled to be historically male-dominated.
My intentions of becoming a world champion and being able to achieve many things in boxing and in life in general.
And how has your journey been as a boxer so far since you've started the sport when you were only 8 years and 10 years later you are still into it?
It has been good, but it has a lot of ups and downs, good journeys, and yeah.
And what are some of these ups and downs that you are talking about?
The ups and downs are whenever I or the Western Cape team, that whenever we need to go compete outside, we always struggle with funds, financial problems, and when we went to the trials in Eastern Cape, we suffered a lot with financial, place to stay, food, as I'm also struggling now to go to the national championships. They will be held in Pretoria. Those are the ups and downs that we often suffer from.
And Sonela, regardless of all these challenges that you've tabled, where a lot of times you're struggling with funds to be able to make your boxing trips a success, but also just being able to sustain yourself as a boxer, but you've kept going on. What has kept you going? Because it has not been an easy journey, but here you are, regardless of all those challenges, you keep going.
My father kept me going because he always pushes me to always do the best, and my coaches, Coach Felix Venganani and Coach Tapiwa, and obviously my teammates, my mother also, they always push me to always keep going and always doing the best.
We are talking to a teenage boxer by the name of Sonela Mbombo, who's talking to us on Africa at Play. We also have her coach, Felix Nkululeko Venganayi, who is a Zimbabwean-born professional boxer and a boxing coach, currently based in Cape Town, South Africa. He transitioned to professional boxing after a successful amateur career, including a win at the Midlands Amateur Championships in 2006. He is also the head coach at the Blood, Sweat and Tears boxing gym in Cape Town. Let's now welcome to Africa at Play, Coach Felix. Coach, good afternoon once more and welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon.
Let's get on to it, Coach. How did you meet Sonela?
Actually, I know Sonela actually when he was a boxer, when he doing very well in boxing. So what actually happened, there's one of my boxers that I get him placed there to stay in the even their father is the one could put the place. So when I went there with that boxer to see the place, that's why we talked to Sonia. Sonia is interested to come and train in our gym.
And Coach, you also have a boxing journey yourself. What got you interested into the sport of boxing?
Actually, when I started boxing, it was like I didn't take it serious when I was starting. I think it's a fun self-defense.
Sonela, yeah, keep going, Coach.
Yeah, so self-defense, but I end up getting interested in it and do it more often and often.
Let's also bring back Sonela to the conversation. Sonela, talk to us about your journey with Coach Felix when you met, and how has it been just working with him? What brings your confidence, knowing that you've got the likes of another gentleman who's devoted to the sport of boxing that keeps you going in the middle of all the challenges that you've tabled?
It has been a good journey with him. He's a very, very good coach, understanding, and whenever I'm feeling down, not wanting to train, he will always push me to always work hard and come to train. And whenever I don't come to the gym, he will always go, "Why didn't you come to the gym?" And he always shout at me, "You must work very hard, you must work." He always motivates me to always do the best and become the champion that I am. It motivates me a lot. The journey has been good.
When last did you have a fight, Sonela, and how did it go?
When was that fight? It was in May, the 3rd of May in Mossel Bay, and the fight went good. I won my fight.
Oh, I missed the last part. Did you win the fight?
Yes, I won the fight.
Talk to us about victory in boxing, because you've tabled challenges, but here you are displaying the champion that you are when you get to the boxing ring.
Can you ask me that question again, please?
Yeah, I'm saying, what does victory mean to Sonela Mbombo in the middle of all the challenges that you've tabled, but when you get to the boxing ring, it's a different story. You go for a win.
It means a lot of power, confidence, in everything, and achieving everything that you want to achieve in boxing, and getting all the wins that you want, the gold medals, the trophies. And
you've also highlighted that you've got challenges when it comes to preparations of your upcoming tournament. In an event that the relevant principals are listening to this conversation, including the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture, Minister Gayton McKenzie, what would you like to say to him and his department and all those out there that are able to come on board and assist you in your journey so that your journey becomes sustainable financially?
That they must make donations or fund me financially, because whenever I need to travel for boxing, I always struggle, because it's either when leaving that location, we'll suffer with food, transport money, and other things. And sometimes it becomes very hard. Sometimes I fight and my legs become very sore because I didn't get much rest. donations and sponsors.
And Sonela, if you are not involved in boxing, what do you get up to?
I don't know. Maybe netball. Just
Oh, you sometimes play netball?
no, I don't. I don't have a favorite sport besides boxing.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're not involved in boxing, what else do you do?
Running.
We are talking to Sonela Mbombo, an 18-year-old boxer, together with his coach, Coach Felix Venganayi, all the way from Zimbabwe. Good people, please just stay on the line. We take a short break. When we come back, our conversation continues with our special guest, our teenager in sport, a teenage boxer that is Sonela Mbombo, together with her coach, Felix Venganayi. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli Siashaya.
You heard something you like on Channel Africa, and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast. Got something to say? Are you passionate about issues that matter? Do you have a voice that deserves to be heard? Well, we've got the perfect platform for you. Call in or drop us a WhatsApp on +27 63 406 9126, and we will call you back so you could have your say and be part of the conversation.
30 years of age. I just turned 30 on the 15th of November. So that's who I am,
It's not just talk, it's your chance to air your views, share your opinion, engage with the community that values your perspective. Follow us on our social media. Visit our website at www.channelafrica.co.za and get ready to share your views on Channel Africa, the African perspective. 180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective. What are the teenagers up to if they are not in class? Let's get in touch with the teenager in sport.
A very warm welcome if you have just joined us. This is Africa at Play. Asteleli Siashaya. We are having a conversation on the sport of boxing with a teenage boxing sensation, so that is Sonela Mbombo, together with her coach, Felix Venganayi. Coach, let's bring you back to the conversation. Where in Zimbabwe are you from, and how was it growing up in Zim?
Yeah, I come from Gweru. I come from Gweru.
How was it growing up in Zim?
It's been a long time I lived in Zim. I left Zimbabwe in 2007.
I see. I see you are talking to us.
Again?
Oh no, I'm saying I see you are at a boxing gym. Did we pull you out during the training session? Did you have any training session today, or it's still coming up?
No, we're having it, then we just finished at 2:30, so we're having training. Yeah.
And how has training been preparing for the national championships?
No, so far so good. We're ready for it.
Talk to us more about Sonela Mbombo. What kind of a fighter is she in terms of areas of improvement, a state where you would like her to get into, so that you get into any boxing bout with confidence, knowing that it will come your camp's way?
Sonela is a boxer, a very smart boxer. So, when we talk about boxing in South Africa, we talk about Sonela. Yeah. One of the best. When you talk to Amateur, you're going to see her on the nationals. If you come and see it's on top.
And coach, as the preparations are continuing for the national championships, what are you looking forward to? What are you hoping to achieve out of that?
God. Yeah, hopefully he's a God.
And coach, we've had Sonela talking about some of the challenges that she's been experiencing in terms of funding and all of that. You, as a professional former boxer yourself and a coach, you must be familiar with some of these challenges. What are some of the challenges that you've noted and the ways of overcoming these challenges?
Yeah, these challenges always happen every year in Western Cape. Like, for them to travel, the department doesn't raise the money. Like now, they said they can only book accommodation for only 30 boxers. But we have more than 30 boxers that are supposed to go to the nationals, including Solid. So there's no money. They said each boxer must get his own money to go there. Money to go there. They only have accommodation, including the coaches and everything needs to use the money to be there in Pretoria. So how people going to arrive there in Pretoria when they don't have money? Some of the coaches, they don't even work. They need money to go there.
Coach, as we wrap up this conversation, who are some of the boxers that you have in your boxing gym?
No, most of my boxers are professional boxers. Kaya Mlata, Owen Venganai, Tarsam Tsau, Zeleti, Indiana, from German, also professionals. I have some of the boxers, they've been they're 10 professional, but they've been doing the pro debut. So in amateur, I'm sorry, and the other boys killed. But so far, for now, we call the national solid.
Are you still working with Mzonke Fana?
Mzonke retired long time. I think his last fight was 2016. But I'm working with Chapwa Tembo. You know him, eh?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, he's the one who's helping me. So working very well today.
Interesting indeed. We were talking to Coach Felix Nkululeko Venganaye from Zimbabwe, who is a born professional boxer and a boxing coach, currently based in the mother city in South Africa, in Cape Town. Coach, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. All the best moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's also wrap up our conversation with our special guest, our teenage sensation, the boxer who is currently 18, turning 19 in November, Sonela Mbombo. Sonela, thank you so much for talking to us on Africa at Play. Before I let you go, what would you like to say to your fans?
What I would like to say to my fans is that continue supporting me, and thank you for the love and support, and hope that you will continue supporting me regardless of anything. And I promise that I will bring back the gold and to more wins and success.
Thank you so much to Sonela Mbombo, as well as the coach Felix Venganai, talking to us on Africa at Play on all things boxing and the national championship that are still coming up that they are gearing up for. We now go to West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria, where our correspondent Tony Robani is standing by to bring us up to speed with regards to all things Nigerian sport. This is Africa at Play, as Delelisia Shaya. Thank you for listening.
President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, Tonobogo Koa, has waved favorably goodbye to her new country, Turkey, noting that she is old enough to decide what is good for her, as the country will not stop her to switch allegiance to another country. Last week, the 22-year-old sprinter wrote to the Athletics Integrity Unit, AIU, for a change of nationality. According to her, the 150-meter world record holder cited the frustrations he suffered at the hands of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria in recent international competitions as reasons for the switch. Okowa stated that he was unaware of Ofili's switch and had only learned of the development through the media. He said the AFN is yet to receive any correspondence from World Athletics or the athlete herself. If this is true, it is sad, disheartening and painful, but we are yet to get any official statement from her or any correspondence from the World Athletics on her request. She's a promising athlete with huge potential, the AFN president said. The AFN and the National Sports Commission have been working had to get athletics and other sports in the country back on track and to show that both bodies are matching goals, objectives, and words with action. Favour Ofili had already been paid her training grant for this year. From the moves we have been making to get her fully prepared and back to the big athletics family in Nigeria, and her response is always clear that she had been preparing and working on her newfound Turkish love. She's old enough to decide what's best for her, but it's painful and hard to take for us. However, we will not stop her. She is still our child, sister, and daughter, the president of the AFN said. Ofili represented Nigeria at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Her performance was impacted by the omission of her name from the women's race by the AFN after she had qualified for the event. She would eventually participate in the women's 200 meters, where she reached the final and finished sixth. Ofili was among the 10 Nigerian athletes who missed the Tokyo 2020 Olympics due to AFN's failure to meet mandatory anti-doping requirements. Ofili's rumored switch is not the first time an athlete has defected from Nigeria to another country due to frustration from the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. Gloria Loze, Francis Obikwelu, and Femi Ogunode switched from Nigeria to Spain, Portugal, and Bahrain, respectively, in the 2000s. The latest was Annette Echinwoku, who switched to the US and won silver in the women's hammer throw at the Paris Olympics. Okowa said Ofili has prevented the federation from reaching her since the Paris Olympics, adding that all attempts to heal the wounds proved futile. The federation said, despite being one of Nigeria's best athletes in recent years, Ofili is difficult to deal with. Despite our own inadequacies, on several occasions, she shunned the national trials, and even when she came, she selected events she preferred to compete in. Okowa said, no doubt Ofili is one of our best of athletes in recent times, but she's difficult to deal with. The AFN has its own issues, but we are getting along with other top athletes and are still thriving within the system. We wish her well in whatever she is doing and wherever she is going. Director General of the National Sports Commission, NSC, Bukola Olopade, reacting to her international switch, said that she is still a Nigerian athlete as they paid her grants only last month. Ex-athlete Deji Aliu did not take kindly to the news of Ofili switching to Turkey, as he heaped the blame on the doors of Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, for frustrating athletes in Nigeria, begging them to borrow a leaf from South Africa. Deji Aliu speaks.
Is enough to frustrate any serious athletes. For example, you prepare so much, you want to go to the Olympics, at the end of the day, you find out you're not going for a reason not yours. On two occasions, we're missing out. There are those bigger stage. It's that time Nigeria, we need to sit up and start doing things properly. We need to do things right. Look at South Africa, for example. You can imagine the way they are performing so wonderfully well across the globe this year in particular. And, it's not like we don't have the talent, but the management has always been our problem. We need to really step up. We need to really turn around things. It's frustrating.
Even star footballer and captain of Super Eagles, Ahmed Musa, expressed sadness over Favour Ofili's decision to switch her national allegiance from Nigeria to Turkey. Musa, a prominent figure in Nigerian football, acknowledged the disappointment of losing such a talented athlete and begged sports authorities to address the issues that may have led to her decision. Ahmed Musa speaks.
No one in Nigeria is going to see that and say you feel happy. Yeah, we know that for her, maybe it's a very good decision for her, but for me, I think we lost a very good athlete. So there is nothing we can do. Let's just say to the federation, they just need to do more, because we can't keep on losing more. Even though footballers and some of our athletes is not good.
Still on the Ofili saga, Nigeria's first individual Olympic gold medalist Chioma Ajunwa has lashed out at sports administrators as the sole reason for the dumping of Nigeria by Favour Ofili, who switched nationality to Turkey. Last week, the 150-meter world record holder cited the frustrations he suffered at the hands of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria in recent international competitions as reason for the switch. And speaking yesterday at the Chioma Ajunwa Golden Dreams Without Drug Abuse or Illicit Trafficking Campaign project in Lagos, the multi-talented athlete Ajunwa pulled no punches in condemning administrators for frustrating Ophili in throwing in the towel. It's quite unfortunate and disheartening for such a young, promising athlete to leave her country to join another country. I guess she was not advised properly, but there are no blames for her. You can't blame her because after the heartbreak she suffered at the Olympics, there was no punishment for the culprits. They should have been penalized to realize the enormity of their mistakes. After losing sweat and blood, training for 4 years, you shattered her dreams. It's a great pain, a nightmare, a bad memory that impacted on her emotion and well-being. She will live with that trauma for a long time, Ajunwa said at the National Institute of Sports in Lagos. The retired Deputy Commissioner of Police, who was a member of the Falcons during the Women's World Cup in 1991, also blamed sports administrators for not compensating her to cushion the effect of her trauma, but instead swept it under the carpet. The main reason for switching nationality is the fact that the culprits are still very much around in athletics. Their presence will forever haunt her. I think that's the major reason for her to take a walk. Ophili also was among the 10 Nigerian athletes who missed the Tokyo 2020 Olympics due to AFN's failure to meet mandatory anti-doping requirements. Chioma Ajunwa, the first Nigerian to win a gold medal in athletics, speaks.
It's quite unfortunate. It's disheartening. For every good sports person know what it means for such a young, promising athlete leaving her own country and join another country, probably because of what happened to her. So actually, I may say that she wasn't advised properly, but in the other way around, you cannot blame her. You can't blame her in the sense that something happened and the people that did that should have been punished, and make them to understand that, look, this girl trained for 4 years, coming to where she's supposed to showcase her talent. You denied her that. It's a great pain. And to cushion that, you should have do something that will be able to give her joy. For the fact that those people are still there, I think that was why she said, this has happened before, this is the second time, and another time, she doesn't know what will happen next time. So I think that was why she did that. And it's not good for us. These people didn't play.
And of course, enough of athletics. Let's look into football to inform you that Augsburg and Germany midfielder Ogochukwu Frank Onyeka has admitted it will be a thing of shame for Nigeria if the Super Eagles fail to qualify for next year's FIFA World Cup. The 2026 Mundial will be the first edition of FIFA Showpiece competition to be co-hosted by 3 countries, and Onyeka noted that Nigeria ought to be part of the history makers in USA, Canada, and Mexico. He further pointed out that the large number of top-quality players in the Super Eagles makes it imperative for them not to miss 2 straight editions of the elite competition. The target is to win the next 4 games and make sure we have a good standing to qualify for the World Cup. It will be a shame if we do not qualify for the 2nd straight edition, especially with the large number of talents we have in our squad. Onyeka, who has a goal in 29 games for Nigeria, reiterated, we have given ourselves the task of working hard because the most important thing is for us to go to the World Cup. As for the Nations Cup, we are also preparing hard. We know how it went last time, so we are all preparing to do better this time. We want to win it this time around. Frank Onyeka speaks.
The first is to win the next 4 games that we have. Make sure we have a good point to qualify for the World Cup. I mean, to be a shame if we don't qualify for the World Cup, especially with of players, talent we have in the squad. So for us, it's the important thing for us to go to the World Cup. For the Nations Cup, we are preparing. We know how it went last time, so we are preparing to for this one.
Also, Super Eagles and Chippa United goalkeeper Stanley Bobonwabale admitted he's hopeful the 3-time AFCON champions can secure a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Stanley Nwabale speaks.
We are always together, so I think it doesn't matter whether this or not. We're always together, so we always
play to support each other. Hopefully, we will work out together.
And of course, from one crisis to another, let's tell you that former Nigeria under-23 coach Samson Siasia has strongly denied recent claims by Mikel Obi, who alleged that he personally paid for the team's flight to the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro. In a sharp rebuttal, Siasia dismissed the statement as inaccurate and challenged Mikel to provide evidence of any such payment. Mikel, in a recent interview on a podcast, alleged that he financed a chartered flight for the Nigerian team after they were left stranded due to financial difficulties within the Nigeria Football Federation. There was no money to pay for a flight. The players were worried. I spoke to the coach. We looked for a plane and I had to pay for it, Mikel said, adding that he's yet to be reimbursed. Reacting to the comments, Siasia categorically denied the account, stating that the team's flight to Brazil was arranged and sponsored by Delta Airlines. Mikel Obi did not pay any flight money. Nothing like that happened. Siasia said Delta Airlines flew us to Brazil for free. If Mikel has a receipt to that effect, let him show Nigerians that he was the one who paid, except he is broke and looking for money. Siasia also acknowledged that Mikel played a supportive role during the tournament by covering some hotel expenses, but stressed that he was not involved in securing the team's air transport. He further clarified that an initial arrangement involving a private jet provided by businessman Yemi Idowu was abandoned after the aircraft proved too small to accommodate the squad. The issue was eventually resolved when Delta Airlines stepped in and offered a larger aircraft at no cost to the team. Neither Mikel Obi nor NFF has issued a follow-up statement in response to Siasia's rebuttal yet. The head coach of Nigeria Super Falcons, Justin Madugu, has expressed confidence that his team can reclaim the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON title at the upcoming tournament in Morocco. The Super Falcons are setting their sights on a historic 10th championship victory in the 2024 edition of the competition, which will run from July 6th to July 23rd. The coach said that he will be introducing players who are unknown and they will be the jokers for title chase. Coach Justin Madugu speaks.
Sometimes, you look at players, you look at their... We've been monitoring her, looking at her. We've been watching a lot of their tapes, watching a lot of their matches, even in the college. There are players that you go to competition with that they stand more or less like jokers. Nobody knows anything about them. All the Oshoalas and all the rest that we're talking about, people have been watching them. People know a lot about them. But when you have one or two that will serve as a surprise for the team also, before people get to understand who that person is, what about her, it depends on how you utilize the person and you get the best out of them. And sometimes, players can come around like that. Through divine intervention is the person's luck that the person is there. Not actually because you just want the person to be there. No, every other person in that team has something to offer. And that is why she is also there.
Odion Ehalo has stated that Victor Osimhen possesses the mental fortitude to handle pressure, citing Oshime's past experiences and resilience. Ehalo believes that despite the constant media attention and speculation surrounding Oshime's career, he has the mental strength to navigate these challenges. Odion Ehalo speaks.
There's the problem. In Africa, we underrate our own African players and potentials. But if you want to search the world now for a proper goal scorer, search the world now and tell me 20 hours of today now, 2 or 3. You will mention his name now. It's not easy, you understand, because agents calling every day, people talking, the media and all that, but I think Victor is mentally strong because he has gone through challenges in his life, even at his age, and he has overcome them. So he knows what he wants. If he calls me for my opinion, I will tell him, but I think he has done well. So whatever decision he make is a win-win for him. If he asks me, yes, I will say, of course, go. Whatever decision is a win-win for him. If he go now, the same. If he don't go now, or he goes after 2 years, it's still the same, you understand? So it does not matter, because last year they came, he did not go. They came back this year. They'll still come again.
Osimhen, however, said that speculations on his next destination will be settled very soon. He said that for now, he's enjoying his holiday. Victor Oshime speaks.
When the season is over and then the summer transfer negotiation starts, you have a lot of these clubs wanting your service. But I think right now I'm focusing on my holiday to enjoy myself, and then while I'm enjoying, I'm also reminiscing about the previous season that I had with Gala, and then watching some clips of my goals, the mistakes that I made, the things that I did good. And I think this has really helped me to improve, not just as a player, also as a man.
And before we go, let's look into athletics to tell you that the Director General of the National Sports Commission, NSC, Honorable Bukola Olokbade, has described Nigeria's hosting of the third African Under-18, Under-20 Athletics Championship as a win-win for the nation's sporting development and economy. Speaking at a World Press Conference in Abuja, Olokbade, who also chairs the local organizing committee, highlighted the significance of Nigeria stepping in to host the championship after Algeria withdrew. The event is scheduled to hold in Abeokuta, Ogun State from July 16th to July 20, 2025. According to him, the federal government's decision aligns with the renewed hope agenda to transform Nigeria into a hub for international sports events. From just sending athletes abroad to hosting major competitions here at home, this helps in building local capacity, creating opportunities for small businesses, and improving sports infrastructure across the country, Olokbade said. He credited NSC chairman Malam Shehu Diko for securing hosting rights during a visit to Algeria, where the Confederation of African Athletics, CAA, sought a new host. Olokbade assured that preparations are in full swing, covering accommodation, transportation, feeding, technical support, and media logistics. We are on course to deliver a world-class event that reinforces Nigeria's reputation as Africa's sports powerhouse, he added. He also expressed hope that the Athletics Federation of Nigeria will use the event to unearth fresh talents ahead of major competitions like the Islamic Games, Commonwealth Games, and the Los Angeles Olympics. So far, 583 athletes from 30 countries have confirmed participation, with the number expected to rise to 900 as more entries come in. And that's the size of sports roundup in Nigeria. For Channel Africa Sports, Tony Ubane reports.
Love music, love culture, love life. Then you will love Channel Africa. Kaleidoscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepu Kholikweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kaleidoscopia, 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana, 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa.
15:42 Central African Time. There is a song by Davido and Chike featuring Odumodu Black, and the song is titled Fans. And before that, we played you Fikani Weekend by BNXN and Rema. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We now welcome to Africa at Play Tony Ubani from West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria. So Ubani, thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, beloved voice, and indeed I was just talking that music here. Oga support, a beautiful music, that comes with, beautiful music.
So, Ubani, your line is a bit unclear. Are you able to move a touch? I will tell you when it's sounding better.
Okay.
Tony Ubani joining us from Lagos, Nigeria in West Africa. We're just making certain that we have a clear line so we don't miss out on the knowledge he's going to share with us on all things Nigerian sport. So Ubani, please welcome back to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, Neto. I was just saying that I was enjoying the music you just played, Oga support, a beautiful song there, and indeed, setting the soon on what we expect to get on Africa Play.
So, Bunny, your line is still very unclear. It's breaking up. Please do try and move around. Or rather, we will try and call you back so that we establish a better sounding line. So, Andimali will take care of that. 15:44 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, we are just correcting a line from West Africa where we will be talking to our correspondent, Tony Tonero Ubani. At the moment, that line is unclear. But worry not, our legendary producer, Andy Mali, will make certain that we get back to a clear line. Thank you so much for choosing Africa at Play. Please do make time to visit our Channel Africa website. Click on programs and search for Africa at Play. At the bottom right screen of Africa at Play, you will be able to access all those conversations that you might have missed out on. And by all means, you can listen to those conversations when you have time to do so. Do get in touch with us on our different social media platforms. On Instagram and X is at Channel Africa 1. And on Facebook, it is the name of our station, Channel Africa. We take a short break. When we come back, we will connect with Tony Todorobane from Lagos, Nigeria.
Your favorite songs, your favorite stories on your favorite station. This is Channel Africa.
Annie Kalonji sur Channel Africa.
Nous allons danser au son de Haya que je dédicace à vous tous, chers auditeurs, qui êtes en train de suivre cette émission Mix Vibration. N'oubliez pas, vous pouvez nous suivre à partir de l'application SABC+. Vous choisissez Channel Africa pour suivre l'émission en direct. Nous allons danser au son de Haya.
Annie Kalonji. Tous les dimanches sur Mix Vibration.
You heard something you like on Channel Africa and you would like to hear it again. Worry not, we've got your back. Just go to our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast. 180 minutes on the world of sports and music. That's Africa at Play with Neto Chemane on Channel Africa from an African perspective.
15:46 Central African Time. If you have just joined us, a very warm welcome to Africa at Play. We are live on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Alternatively, you can reach us from anywhere you are online on channelafrica.co.za, also available on SABC+. We now welcome to Africa at Play, Tony Tonero Ubani. So, Ubani, a very good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Thank you so much, very much. I apologize for that, the problem of connection out there. It's prevent for me to climb the tree so that I get to hear you very well, and I guess it's very clear now.
It is very clear, much improved indeed. Thank you so much, Tony Tonero-Bani, for climbing that tree to have a decent conversation with us on Africa at Play. Please make certain that you are relying on a strong branch. We don't want you to fall during this conversation.
That's very, very fine. I'm well positioned here.
Thank you so much. Let's get on to it. Kwara United, Abakili FC battle for President Federation Cup. Please tell us more.
Yeah, Neto, it's Abakaliki. I know that before you buy the song, that it's a surprise that a team, an unknown team, just creating all the fairy tales in Nigerian football. Nobody expected that a team like that, very, very unknown, will get to play in the final of, the Federation's Cup. And that's exactly why everybody is, looking forward to the kickoff today, as the MPFL side, Kwara United battles the lower division of Abakaliki FC of Ebonyi State in the present Federation Cup final at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, Nico, Lagos State. And I guess in 2 hours' time now that match will begin. And this year's showpiece events sees two unlikely teams on the cusp of glory and also a golden chance to represent the country on the continental level, via the CAF Confederations Cup next season. Indeed, the magic of the Cup was truly evident and present as on fancied Abakaliki FC embarked on a fairy tale run which saw them eliminate 4 top-flight teams, NATO, including 2-time African champions, Enyimba FC of Aba, on their way to reaching the final. And that's, where so many people began to take Abakaliki FC, seriously. Interestingly, the Ebonyi State base side have been battling relegation all season in the Nigerian National League, but all that will be forgotten if they manage to topple yet another MPFL side in the final today. History could be in the offing if a lower division side beats a top flight team to win the cup. The same scenario played out when the then second tier Leventis United of Ibadan defeated high-flying Abiola Base of Abeokuta in the 1984 Challenge Cup final. However, Kwara United have something up their sleeves as star forward Wasiu Alalade will be tasked with getting the goals during today's clash. The manager of Bayelsa United, the Priete Way, has reiterated that the task before Abakaliki is not impossible to achieve, and of course, he knows what has happened to almost 4 or 5 of top flight teams that Abakaliki United kicked out of the championship. And also in the women's event, Neto, reigning holders Rivers Rangers will be eyeing an unprecedented 10th President Federation Cup title when they go up against Nasarawa Amazons. This year's final deja vu as both sides met in the 2019 edition, which saw the Amazons defeat Rivers Angels. Victory for Rivers Angels will see them avenge their defeat 6 years ago while defending their title. And indeed, everybody is expecting a great match between in both the male and the female, categories of the President's Federation's Cup NATO.
It is less than 10 days to go to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON Morocco 2024. The Super Falcons monitor events in Banyana camp as they boycott training over unpaid dues. It is that time prior to a big tournament where we will get to hear more about these boycotts due to unpaid dues. Your thoughts, Ubani?
Yeah, Neto, it's something that we're so used to, in Nigeria here. Several times the Super Falcons have gone through that, at the initial time of, the beginning of the WAFCON championship. Indeed, there was even a time they were trapped in South Africa after winning, the WAFCON and, of course, refused to come back to Nigeria. So, surprisingly, we're just getting to hear this happening in South Africa. And South Africa has always been a place, that Nigeria we use to measure administration, for teams in Africa, because in South Africa, that which we admire so much has always been in administration. So it's surprising when we hear that Bayana is staying and refusing to train due to unpaid dues, from the South African Football Association, SAFA, and that is so surprising. But as it is, while the team is going through that, I must confess to you here that, the Nigerian side are monitoring events because they know the power of Bayana. And indeed, as defending champions, Nigerians have vowed in their Mission X, that the only team that can stop them, from achieving that the 10th title in WAFCON is Bayana. So when this unpleasant news of not paying their bonuses is going on, to them, I think it's a very good distraction. They believe that perhaps, that their aim of getting to wrestle the trophy from them, is going to be easy, with these things of, not training and then not, that's just exactly how it feels. The Super Falcons are already geared up. They have trained, and by Monday they will be playing a team. They will be playing, Ghana. Just their final tune-up before the tourney begins. So it's unpleasant, and I'm so sorry that these things are happening in South Africa. Bayana. That to me could be a very big distraction for a team, that is doing well in the WAFCON.
Money is money everywhere, so Bani, by the look of things, like you've rightfully said, one would think that administratively things would be done a lot better, but unfortunately it is not the case. You were talking about Abakiliki FC, and I wanted to say that the Super Eagles players that are playing abroad, they've got to watch out, because when they don't want to come for camp, we will select players from Abakiliki FC, because clearly there's enough talent, not just in Nigeria, but across the African continent. WAFCON 2024, the celebration continues, celebrating the record breaker by CAF, Onomi Ebi.
Yeah, so it's not the first time that, the Confederation of African Football are rolling up the drums, for Nigerian players. And indeed, they are out again, as CAF has celebrated former Super Falcons captain Onome Ebi's historic feat at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Ebi featured in 7 editions of the biennial competition. A very rich profile, you might say, Neto. And of course, coaching CAF and their side, they said that in the history of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, few players can compete with the longevity and impact of Onome Ebi, an emblematic central defender of Nigeria. She remains the most taxed player of the tournament with 7 appearances to her credit. And Ebi has played in 7 editions of the Women's AFCON, 2008, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, 2018, 2022. And across generations, opponents and styles of play, she has established herself as a central figure in the Super Falcons, an essential defensive pillar and a model of consistency. Her continental record is simply remarkable. 4 titles won, 2010, 2014, 2016, and 2018. And a presence in all of Nigeria's major campaigns for more than 15 years. Each time Ebi held her ground, solid on her feet, lucid in her reading, sober in her attitude, a natural leader, respected and listened to. If her statistics are impressive, more than 100 international caps, 4 AFCON wins, 5 World Cups played, it is above all her consistency at the very highest level that commands respect. On the pitch, as in the locker room, she embodied for more than a decade the high standards and pride of wearing the Super Falcons jersey. Neto, I think this alone, shows, the pedigree of Onome Ebi. And just few days ago, CAF also celebrated Asisha Oshoala. And Asisha Oshoala is still playing, and she's going to feature in WAFCON. And this player shows, how ready, and of course, how gifted the Nigerian team are. And they are ready, to explode, ready to roar. And of course, trying as much as possible to accomplish Mission X in Morocco. Neto.
If you have just joined us, we are talking to Tony Robani, West Africa's finest, our legendary correspondent based in Lagos, Nigeria, talking all things Nigerian sport. And just to update our listeners, the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Morocco 2024, is not a mistake. It is titled that way because initially the tournament was supposed to take place in 2024, but was postponed by the mother body of football in Africa, CAF, citing that the tournament was going to clash with the football tournament of the Paris Olympics 2024, and that's why the name remains WAFCON Morocco 2024. So it's not by mistake, it is titled like that. So Ubani, talking about WAFCON Morocco 2024, the Super Falcons, 9-time champions of this continental glory. Is this the year for the Super Falcons to lift their 10th title?
Yeah, Neto, I think they are ready. They are ready, and indeed, if you listen to the coach, Justin Madugu, that shows, that the man is ready. A man has said, that he has gotten almost everything he needed. Initially, he complained about not having enough friendly matches, to prepare the team. But before moving over to Morocco, he says that the Nigeria Football Federation, that they have done well. And he said he takes the credit, even when he rolled out the team, for the players that are going to, partake in this tournament. They're recalling Atisha Oshoala, who has been missing, from the team for a very long time. When asked, he said that he takes charge of the team and will take everything, every blame, and of course every glory. That he decided to let Atisha Oshoala move out, not because she was not doing well, because the attention of defenders were more on her, and of course the defenders had gone to understand her very well. The man also told us that, in the squad, he had decided to bring in some very fresh players that are making their maiden appearances. One of them is Chioma, from the collegiate in the United States of America. And Madugu says that he has jokers, that not many coaches, especially mentioned the Bayana coach, that she will really be very surprised, because she has no understanding or knowledge of some of the players that he is going to introduce in the tournament in Morocco, Neto.
The rivalry between South Africa and Nigeria continues with the Super Falcons with their eyes always on the reigning champions, Banyana. When the two teams meet on the field, it's always fireworks and incredible action of football. And it's good to see that women's football is on the rise, and we are all looking forward to the highly anticipated Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024 taking place in Morocco from the 5th to the 26th of July in North Africa. So, Bani, before we say goodbye, what's the latest in Nigerian sport?
Yeah, Neto, I must say that Toby Amusa has, shot back to reckoning, and indeed Nigerians or the Nigeria Athletics Federation of Nigeria using that, to console themselves. There has been an outcry over Favour Ofili's switch to Turkey, and why they are still recovering from there. The world record holder in the 100 meters hurdles, Nigeria and Africa's number one, Toby Amusa, has made a triumphant return to the top 100 of the World Athletics Women's overall rankings after slipping out of the elite group last year for the first time since the ranking system was introduced in 2019, when she debuted at number 96. Amusa has surged back to 88 in the world with a ranking score of 1,356. Her resurgence is powered by a string of impressive performances, including a 12.45 second run and a season's best of 12.24 seconds at the 2025 Paris Diamond League, where she finished second behind Grace Stark. That time is her fastest in setting the world record of 12.12 seconds at Oregon, USA in 2022. Amusan's rise has also seen her reclaim the title of Nigeria's highest-ranked female athlete, overtaking Favour Ofili, of course, who has switched over to Turkey, who held that distinction at the end of 2024, but has now dropped to 175th. In the 100 meters hurdles discipline, Amusa has climbed back into the top 10, currently sitting at number 9 after ending last year in 13th place. With her form peaking ahead of major championships, Amusa appears to be on track to replicate or even surpass her stellar 2022 season, when she finished as the world's top sprint hurdler and ranked 5th overall among women, Neto.
That is Tony Tonero Ubani from West Africa in Lagos, Nigeria, West Africa's finest. And we are now joined by Namuchana from Lusaka, Zambia. Before we say goodbye to Sir Ubani, let's get the two gentlemen to greet each other. Sir Ubani, as you say, good afternoon to Namuchana. Namuchana, please give us your parting shot on the African teams that couldn't make it to the last 16 of the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. Without Casablanca, Esperance de Tunis, Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, and Al Ahly of Egypt. We've seen them in their match day 3 of 3. play into a 8-goal thriller, 4-4 draw. But that's not good enough. Mamelodi Sundowns also drawing against Fluminense by a 0-all draw, but it wasn't good enough. And I'm certain they started regretting the mistakes they committed during their match against Borussia Dortmund, where they went down by 4-3. A match I thought they rightfully were supposed to win. But someone once said there's no therefore in football. Your thoughts as you say goodbye to Namuchana as well?
Yeah, Neto, it's that's football for you. There are bound to be mistakes, in such high-profile matches, and that's exactly, why coaches, go through all this and make sure that almost in a pitfall, mistakes. My heart.
So Ubani, I'm not sure what you did, but it looks like you got off the tree and we've gone back to that bad line.
Okay, I'm moving up.
Much better.
Moving up the ladder now. Can
Much
you
better.
hear me? Okay.
Yes, we can. Loud and clear. Go
I'm
for it.
saying that that I dumped my heart for the African representatives in the Club World Cup. They did well. There were very obvious mistakes that, of course, made them to falter. But that does not in any way mean that African football is not on the rise. I dump my heart for them. And of course, I congratulate them. I believe and pray that perhaps one day, Nigerian teams will also launch themselves back to play in the Club World Cup. And with that, I welcome the Lion of Africa, the one from Zambia, Namuchana, the only man that shares a double name with JJ Okocha. Namuchana, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony. And always a pleasure to listen to your reports from Nigeria. Insightful as always, and we hope that Nigeria is good this afternoon. What more with a lot of fufu around that place?
Yeah, as I speak to you, I'm on my way to the Oniko Johnson Stadium where the Federation Cup is happening. Almost everybody who is a lover of football is going to to watch Abakaleke United, the fancy team, taking off Kwara United, and of course the same in the women version of the Federation Cup.
Tony Obani, all the way to the President Cup, a match between Abakaliki FC and Kwara United. It is an exciting match this afternoon. Thank you so much, Sir Obani. Have a safe trip to the match, and may the best team win.
Thank you so much, the Velvet Voice of Africa.
Let's officially welcome Namuchana from Lusaka, Zambia, our correspondent in Southern Africa. So Namuchana, a warm welcome and a good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on Africa at Play. So Namuchana.
Good afternoon, Neto, and good afternoon to all our listeners on the African continent, Neto.
Thank you so much. It is 10 days to go to the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco 2024. Talk to us about the Copper Queens preparations. How ready is the team?
Morocco is like the team is very much ready for Morocco, and as you might be aware, Neto, the Copper Queens right now they are in Morocco preparing for the same WAFCON, and Nora Hapto is bubbling with confidence that they will do everything possible to make sure that their account
Namuchana talking to us on Africa at Play, all things Zambian sport. So Namuchana, talking about the topic of the day, talk to us about your conversation with the Encyclopedia of African football. Simata Simata, former Football Association of Zambia president, who got to speak about nicknames in football, especially on the African continent, and how they come about. Recently, we talk about nicknames of footballers, and today we've twisted that conversation to nicknames of African football teams and his favorite African football nickname. It looks like we've lost that line to Namachana. We just got him back. Thank you for joining us, Namachana. So Namachana was saying just your conversation with the Encyclopedia of African Football, Simata, on the formation of nicknames in African football teams and his favorite football team nickname. What did you get out of that conversation?
Yeah, great conversation, Neto, with the Encyclopedia of the African Football, Mr. Simata there. I will tell you that almost all the teams in Zambia, Neto, there is no team that can say we don't have a nickname. All the teams that we have in Zambia here, they have been nicknamed in one way or another by the soccer fans, or maybe it's just a community where they're found. I'll tell you that one of my favorite nicknames, it was the Tamanga Boys. That was Zamsho Football Club. Though now the team disbanded, we no longer have it here in Zambia. It was a team that stormed Zambia by storm. Actually, they were playing scintillating football. They played a marvelous football. They were a marvel to watch. They had players like Masao Sotembo, one of the greatest players that this country has ever produced. And they were given that name to say the Tamanga Boys, which translates into the running boys, or maybe the boys who are so fast, because every time they were on the pitch, they would play football with such astonishing speed. So they got this name, the Tamanga Boys. Otherwise, it is extremely unfortunate that they couldn't stay long on the Zambia football scene. Their sponsors, the Zambia State Insurance Corporation, it's like they pulled out and the team disbanded. So it is something that brings the soccer fans. They feel they're part and parcel of the club. And I'll tell you, Neto, that in Zambia I support Power Dynamos, and this is the team that I've been supporting now for years and years. And people who support Power, they have given me a powerful Power Dynamos a lot of names. Others they call them Aba Yellow, meaning the yellow boys, because they always put on a yellow jersey. Or you can simply say a Power 90. You are aware that this is the only Zambian team, Neto, to have won a continental trophy in 1990. That time, I think it was called the Mandela Cup, if my memory can serve me right. So the only Zambian club to have ever won a continental cup in 1990, it was Power Dynamos. Hence the name Power 90. So these names define, they've got a bearing. They define these teams. I haven't come across any team, Neto, that is just playing football without a nickname. I'm yet to come across one, because even national teams on the African continent, they have got a name, the Chipolo Boys, because Chipolo just simply means the bullets. The Zambian soccer fans, they thought that time, or way back in those years, Zambia national soccer team used to play good football. The way they used to beat other teams, they were like bullets. So that is how that name, the Chipolo Boys, was coined, Neto. It just simply means the bullets. So this is Africa. This is who we are, and this is what defines us. And our football is very different, Neto, from everybody out there. We do our own things in a different way. The other week, we were looking at nicknames of our African footballers. We do it in a way that others, they come second, they follow. We lead them, they just follow. So, a great conversation indeed with Mr. Sumata, and I only hope going forward we are going to see a lot of teams coming onto the scene and getting themselves these funny nicknames around it.
16:13 Central African Time. We are talking to Namuchana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, Southern Africa's finest. So Namuchana, if Africa is this unique and great in football, why is the continent still battling to make it to the last 16, the quarterfinals, the semifinals of top competitions like the FIFA Club World Cup? All 4 African teams couldn't make it to the last 16. What could have gone wrong for the wheels to come off like that?
Yeah, I think it's just lucky of preparations. Those who represented Africa, like Mamelodi Sundowns, the likes of our athlete, they were not up to speed. I believe that they didn't prepare for the Club World Cup adequately. My heart is telling me that they didn't have the time to put everything in place, or maybe it's just a matter of underrating their opponents. I don't know, but we watched very good games. We watched good football, and one of my favorite games at the Club World Cup, Neto, I can confess right now, it was Borussia Dortmund versus Mamelodi Sundowns. That game, Mamelodi Sundowns just they could have won it easily. The goalkeeper made a few mistakes here and there. Otherwise, that game, had Mamelodi Sundowns won that one, would have been talking of a different story right now. I think it all goes to the principles of the game. Since now we know that the expanded Club World Cup has a lot of money and a lot at stake, we only hope that the teams that will represent this continent at the next Club World Cup, they are not going just there to participate, but they are going there to show their skills. They will go there next time around to prove to the world, to say, look, Africa can do it. We are here and we mean business. We have come here to get this cup. For them to fail, even to go to the knockout stages, it is very disappointing. But for the mere fact that we were able to participate at this expanded Club World Cup, I think it's a great achievement for the teams that represented us in the United States, and it is a learning curve. We only hope that other clubs were watching, such that if they'll be given that opportunity to go and represent this continent at the next event, they are going to do things differently. Otherwise, I'm so proud of Mamelodi Sundowns. They played good football. They were a marvel to watch. They couldn't just come together and face those teams and just take them head on. At times it can be said, Neto, that maybe experience kicked in. Our European counterparts, the highly experienced, maybe our African players, yes, they could be experienced, but not to that level, like our colleagues from Europe. But I don't think that our African players they are not good when it comes to football. I think it's just preparations, and we can do better. my prayer is that the principles of the game on the African continent, the next time around, they will make sure that before they fly to the Club World Cup, they'll be able to make sure that they play a lot of friendly matches, they identify their weaknesses, their strong points, and just Neto, before you go to any tournament, it is cardinal. It is very important for you to watch the videos of your opponents, their style of play, their formations, who is their danger man, who is what. So the more you study your opponents, the better you are going to get something out of them. So ultimately, I would just say we didn't prepare well, but I'm so proud of Mamelodi Sundowns.
Namachana is our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia, and we are talking about all things Zambian and African sport. So, Namachana, before I let you go, what's the latest in Zambian sport?
Yeah, there isn't much Neto happening here, apart from Nora Apto. This is the Copper Queens coach, who is bubbling with much confidence. She says she's come up with a very, very good team that should be able to take on the likes of Morocco when the two teams will meet. So we see what they will deliver. Though, I'll tell you that a lot of people in Zambia, the Zambian soccer fans out there, some of them are not convinced that Nora is the right coach for the Copper Queens. They're trying to compare the way the Copper Queens were playing under the fired coach Bruce Mape and the way now they are playing under Nora Hopto. So a lot of them, they have given this team, maybe if I try to do better, it might go just to the quarterfinals. Otherwise, to replicate what they did last time at WAFCON, I think it is asking too much and taking your luck too far. But we just wait to see. The coach herself says, look, we have had a lot of good training sessions here. All my players are in camp. We are training well. We are one unit, and we are not going to fear anybody. So far, she says she knows how Morocco plays, and she's been studying them for some time now. So it's just a matter of wait and see. But personally, Neto, I'll tell you that I'm not seeing the Copper Queens progressing to the quarterfinals or the semifinals at the forthcoming WAFCON unless something dramatic happens. I'm not convinced with her style of play. They're no longer playing good football. They're no longer playing that football that entertained the Zambian soccer fans. They are no longer banging goals. So maybe she has come up with new strategies that will, as soccer fans, we just need to wait and see what she's going to deliver next.
Namachana, all the way from Lusaka, Zambia in Southern Africa. So Namachana, always an awesome pleasure talking all things Zambian and African sport with you. Have an awesome afternoon further.
Thank you so much, Neto, for having me, and would like to thank all our listeners on the African continent and the world at large.
16:21 Central African Time. That's how we wrap up our conversation and update from Zambia with Namachana, our correspondent based in Lusaka, Zambia. We are now rolling out the red carpet as we're gearing up for sports news at 16:30 Central African Time with awesome African sounds, Nwa Baby Ashawo by Flavor, as well as Bust Down by Zlatan featuring Asake. It is a double play. This is Africa at Play, as Delilisia Shai.
No fairy tales, just the facts and the music you love on Channel Africa.
Remix, Mr. Flavor, Bunny Dance Hard, and a shower remix. You know, what you gonna continue?
emotion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Mariamo Kumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Mariamo Kumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones. On air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African life. Our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, and look for our podcast, Africa at Play with Neto and Neto Chemane.
Oh yeah, ow, bust down, visa, now. I'm a logo down.
Style, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tepuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique with Joel Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochi Tika, 7 till 8 p.m. Mariamo Kumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10, we take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda as they bring you breaking news, sharp analysis, and the voices that shape the day. At mid-morning, we get on the move with Palisa and Benjamin, digging into the African lifestyle, people, and the things that make Africa smile. 12 till 1, Africa Update with Lulu Kabu, getting in-depth, powerful stories, and the perspective you won't hear anywhere else. The Upside, 1 till 4, live and real, with Tebuho Likweleni and Nompumelelo Ngubeni. Tame Ngubeni talks money, Africa in business, 4 till 5 p.m. 5 till 6, we put on a little bit more color. Vue d'Afrique, with Joël Moteba. We go to East and Central Africa and find Darubinia Africa with I Am Shakif. Madapiri gives us some life. Zochitika, 7 till 8 p.m. Maria Mokumalo comes in 8 till 9. We get some useful knowledge. Kalodiscopia. 9 till 10. We take a look in Africa and beyond. Africa World Hour with Sipiso Makwetla. And we close it up with some love. The Hotlines with Shailen Dikumana. 10 till 12 p.m. on Channel Africa. Across borders, across time zones, on air, online. This is Channel Africa. Africa has a voice, and that voice is Channel Africa. It keeps you in motion, speaking, singing, questioning, rising. Wake up with Rise and Shine 6 till 9. Peter and Asanda. 10:30 Central African Time. You are still tuned in to Africa's #1 Africa at Play. We are live every Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central African Time on DSTV Audio Bouquet Channel 802 or OpenView 628 if you are based in South Africa. Otherwise, you can reach us from anywhere you are on channelafrica.co.za. Also available at your fingertips on SABC+. It's time for sports news. Starting off with tennis news. The Corinthian Motete booked his place in the Mallorca Open final with a 6-4, 7-6 win over third seed Alex Michelsen on Friday, reaching his first ATP showpiece match in over 5 years. The Frenchman will face Talon Grigspor in Saturday's showdown after the Dutchman secured a 6-4, 6-4 win over Canadian second seed Felix Auger-Aliassime. The unseeded Motete, whose only previous appearance in an ATP final was in Doha in 2020, broke twice in the opening set and remained solid on serve to take it 6-4. Motete's courtcraft kept his American opponent off balance throughout with his lefty angles and slice disrupting Michelsen's rhythm. Motete went ahead 4-3 in the breaker and never looked back, sealing the match on his first opportunity and will now be bidding to win his maiden ATP title. In motorsport, Lando Norris led Formula One leader Oscar Piastri in a McLaren 1-2 in second practice for Austrian Grand Prix on Friday after George Russell went fastest for Mercedes in the opening session. Norris has handed his car to Alex Dunn for an impressive F1 practice debut for the Irish rookie and Formula 2 leader, but Brixton was right up to speed as soon as he got back behind the wheel. After Russell's best 1 minute 5.542 seconds in the early afternoon, Norris 22 points beyond Piastri in the title battle after 10 of 24 races, lapped in 1 hour 04.580 with Piastri on 0.157 slow one. In judo, Team Zambia kicked off with the African Judo Open in Pretoria yesterday with 3 bronze medals thanks to strong performances from Sting Mungatu and Rita Kabinda as well as Simon Zulu. Although Philet Musonda and John Kapungwe missed out on medals, they showed real grit. Today all eyes are on Andrew Sande, who weighs 90 kgs, and Jafed Musonda, who are both on set to compete and boost Zambia's medal count. On to football news. As part of
As part of its turnaround strategy to improve the financial revenue of the organization and maintain high standards on the high-performance side, the South African Football Association, SAFA, is benchmarking itself against three counterparts on the continent, Morocco, Egypt and Cote d'Ivoire. This was revealed to SABC Sport by the SAFA Finance Committee Chairperson, Mxolisi Sibam, following the conclusion of the National Executive Committee meeting in Sandton last night. SAFA, which has found itself in dire financial straits due to limited revenue streams, it's revising its fundraising strategies. Spam explains the plan they are undertaking.
Today we presented the last meeting we had, but the key thing that we had to come with was to present a turnaround strategy that has been 3 months in the making from the Finance Committee to present it to the NEC. It's a matter of us trying to reset and make sure we repurpose and we not necessarily restructure, but we reset SAFA to the point that it can be a modern association that can follow the trends of the world and look at the best practices of the other FAs in the world that are very successful. And also look mainly at our competitors in Africa, the top 10 countries in Africa, to make sure that, because at the end of the day, whatever we do, we're competing with the top 10 countries in Africa. So we must also try to make sure we modernize how we do business, how we raise revenue, how we control our expenditure, and how we relate to our stakeholders, like our sponsors, our members, and also SASCOC and government, to make sure that we are properly purposed, we are ready, so we can compete with the rest of the world. So that's what we're presenting today.
Morocco and Egypt are two of the top football associations on the continent, both on and off the field, with sound administrative, commercial and technical operations. The Ivorians also have a solid technical structure, which has enabled them to be the reigning champions in the Men's Africa Cup of Nations, AFCON. Spam, who is leading the SAFA turnaround strategy, says their counterparts operate on better funding models from other countries.
The key thing, if you want to look at how you deal with your technical issues and your development, Morocco is the key one to look at. How you relate with your players. Egypt is a very good example. And also Cote d'Ivoire, a very good example. And so what we're trying to do, we have to look at these FAs in Africa and make sure that, because the key ones is Morocco, Senegal, and Egypt. So you look at those, and then because those are the main competitors you have in Africa, so you have to make sure all the time you match whatever they can produce, and also try to make sure you do better. And we don't have the advantage the Moroccans have, where their government, I don't want to say they've got unlimited funding, but they are funded substantially by their government.
Around the continent, most football federations are substantially funded by their governments, which is not the case in South Africa, where the federation received only 6.7 million rands from the government. This was also revealed during their appearance before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture recently. SPAM says they rely entirely on sponsorships to run their programs.
As I'm sure you all heard when we went to the sports committee in Parliament, we were only given 6.7 million per government. So, and we have a revenue that ranges in the past 10 years or so, our revenue ranges from 250 million to about 380 million. And of that, if you take the 6.7 we get from government, that's a very, very small percentage. And yet we have to raise our own funding. And when you put the people we compete with in Africa, their governments provide literally all the funding for their national teams, all the funding for their offices. They've got very little when it comes to sponsorship. So whereas us, we mainly funded through sponsorship, we mainly funded through our own initiatives, we mainly funded by broadcasting. And now we have to enhance all the other revenue streams that will make us to compete properly with the rest of the world.
SAFA will report a 5 million rand financial loss today during its Congress at the Sandton Convention Center, which is said to be attended by its 52 regions and 8 associate members, including its special member, the Premier Soccer League, PSL. The financial report has been prepared by SBAM, and he says that to address some of their revenue stream challenges, the relationship with the PSL is key, and part of finding solutions is voting and representation in the NEC.
We have got one of the best leagues in the world, and our league is modeled per what's happening in the EPL in England, also in the Bundesliga, in the La Liga in Spain. So we have to be then a federation that responds to that. We can't be a federation that's got a league that's so advanced, and then we lag way behind in our type of relationship. And this relationship are focused on basically three things. They are focused on voting power at Congress. They are focused on representation in the NEC. They are also focused on the issue of revenue sharing. And you can't separate them. You can't want to focus on one and not looking at the other. For you to have revenue sharing, you must address the issue of voting at Congress. You must address the issue of representation in the NEC. Those are the things we're looking at. But at the same time, we must also look at the issue, how do we relate further so that we can build common properties with the PSL? Because the successful FAs of the world, when they look at broadcasting and any other venture they are getting into, they work hand in hand with the PSL. Remember, as a federation, we only got between 8 and 10 at maximum national team games of our senior team per annum. Yet the league has got close to 350 or so matches per annum. So you have to leverage that and work with them to make sure that you get the full benefit of whatever's happening between the two of us.
Newly appointed Zambia women's national team coach Nora Hopkel is aiming to get more Copper Queens players to move abroad and play in international leagues. The Copper Queens currently have two of the most expensive female footballers in the world, in Rachel Kundananji and Barbara Banda, who play for Bay FC and Orlando Pride in the NWSL respectively. Speaking to the media after announcing her final squad to face Malawi in an international friendly, Hopkel says she is happy with the FAS Women's Super Division, how it is well run and gives the players a lot of exposure. Former Bafana Bafana head coach Molefi remains the front runner for the vacant South African Football Association SAFA technical director position, but the federation's technical committee chairperson Jack Maluleka told SABC Sport last night that they are still in a shortlisting phase. The TD's position became vacant at the end of March this year when Walter Steenbok, who had turned around the SAFA technical department, resigned from the post, citing a lack of support and poor pay as a part of his reasons for departure. Maluleka says in the next 2 weeks they will be in progress in the search.
Yeah, today it was not that much from our technical committee. As you know, that we are waiting for the interview of one of the major position in the technical committee of the TD. So we are busy with the shortlisting. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be interviewing, wherein we'll then recommend the name to the executive committee of SAFA to approve such a name.
In the job advertisement for the technical director position, SAFA listed the minimum requirements for potential candidates to be a CAF-A license holder, hold a university degree or possess a 3-year diploma, minimum of 3 years of experience working with youth at that highest level. The candidate must also have a minimum of 3 years of experience as a coach, technical director or a sports manager. Maluleka explains their ideal candidate for this position.
Yes, we have the application, but the committee, the panel have to sit down and finalize those names and make sure that the shortlisted candidates knows and the date as well, when are they going to be invited for presentation.
What kind of an individual are you looking for?
No, of course, as you know, that the technical person, we need somebody who have intense knowledge on specifically on technical matters. That particular person academically must be a sound one. Also international experience in terms of understanding the technical matters of the organization. So the person, as you know, that he will be also coordinating our programs through FIFA projects, and that particular person must be wary of what is happening in FIFA as well. So it should be a person that understands well what is happening in that field.
Meanwhile, Maluleke has also explained the thinking behind taking the under-17 national men's team to the COSAFA under-20 tournament in the Region 5 Games in Namibia next month as they continue their preparations for the FIFA under-17 World Cup to be held in Qatar in November.
Yeah, as you know, like we started, I think it was 2023, the same under-17. When we went to Morocco in December 2023, it was under 15. So at least we know that we give them 2 years space, and after 2 years we know that they'll be ready to participate at that level. And even now, when we put under 17, 2 years later, they will be representing the country under 20. Then they cope with the demand.
With Banyana now settling in Morocco ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON tournament that gets underway on the 5th of next month, Maluleke does not doubt that they will defend their title.
No, as you know, they left earlier and it's going to cost us, but the good part of it is that we know that the crop that we have specifically for Banyana, it's not going to be very easy, but we know that they will defend that title. We are very sure that they will defend the title, but as we know that it won't be easy. It's a very tough one this time. But we have confidence that they will defend that title.
Let's also hear from the Copper Queens coach, Nora Hoptlele, ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, WAFCON Morocco 2024.
Yeah, we have been happy to arrive a couple of days ago. The last players have been a bit stuck in transit in Dubai, but they arrived also Wednesday. So we had now they have the second session here with the complete squad. The mood is excellent. I think we find a very good balance between having good mood but also work hard. So far, coach is very satisfied, and we progress towards the start of the tournament. It's a bit working on the cohesion. We are clearing still on values. Had a very good session yesterday about it, where we agreed how do we want to act on the pitch beside football. How do we want to be recognized? What is our culture, our values we want to live and express to outside? On the other hand, we are working good on the pitch, trying, of course, already to focus on the opening game against Morocco, clearing some screws on the strategy and just also ensure that the players are in the right fitness for the opening game. I mean, we know that Morocco is the runner-up from the last tournament, so for us we want to hunt them. They have technical good players. We are aware, of course, of this, try to find a good strategy against it and challenge them the best we can. Obviously, we hope that as many as possible can arrive here in Morocco to support us on site, or if it's not possible, that you are behind the televisions. We expect that the full nation is cheering for us, is supporting us, and is carrying us through this group stage.
And finally, in motorsport, Max Verstappen is hoping to achieve the podium finish at the Austrian Grand Prix. Let's find out what are his thoughts.
Well, I mean, there are no guarantees. I mean, we'll always, of course, try to do our best. In the past, yes, we've had a lot of great races here. I think back then were also unexpected wins. So in a way, maybe, we come into this weekend again, a bit not as favorites for sure. But I know that, myself and the team will always try to optimize everything that we can. But I'm excited. I'm here to do the best I can. And of course, I hope to be on the podium.
16:46 Central African time. It is that special moment of the afternoon where the clock is telling you that in no time Africa's Velvet Voice has to say goodbye. But you can never say goodbye without welcoming the next important person on Channel Africa who will be bringing you the exciting edition of Mix Vibration. That is Jolene Nsungu. Bonjour.
Bonjour Neto, merci beaucoup pour cet endroit et pour cette occasion. Nous rappelons à nos auditeurs de Mix Vibration que nous aurons un moment spécial de musique dans quelques minutes. Et non seulement ça, nous aurons un invité, c'est le mois de la jeunesse en Afrique du Sud. Nous allons parler encore un peu plus de la jeunesse, des dangers que l'Internet présente au niveau de la jeunesse. Et ça sera un moment merveilleux avec beaucoup de musique, je vous promets, ça sera merveilleux. Joyeux anniversaire et puis birthday encore Neto.
Thank you so much. Happy belated birthday to you too, my brother.
Thank you.
16:47 Central African Time. The Springboks of South Africa are lining up against the Barbarians in a big clash, as this marks the exciting times of the international series of rugby. And we are now joined by Andisiwe Fakimalu Mali, my producer, to talk to us on the Producer's Corner about the latest in African sport. Andy Mali, good afternoon and a warm welcome to Africa at Play.
Good afternoon, Neto. Good afternoon to Africa at Play listeners across the continent and across the globe. A very busy weekend when it comes to sports. Also, the past week, we've seen a lot of action happening. Teams, some exiting the Club World Cup, some advancing to the last 16. We've also seen teams going to Morocco, for the WAFCON. It's been very interesting week. I'm not sure where to start. You lead me, Neto. I'll follow.
No problem at all. Let's kick off with the Boks welcoming the Barbarians in Cape Town. A sold-out affair. It never disappoints when the Boks walks onto a rugby pitch. These are the 4 times world champions. What do you expect?
Well, it's a very interesting one, Neto, and also to see the team. I've also been following the stories when they assembled in the Align camp before they were even selected as a team that will face the Barbarians. When you had a mixture of players, unfortunately for Siya Kolisi, he suffered an injury as well. He was meant to lead today's team against the Barbarians, but unfortunately injury caught up with him, so he won't be able to make it. But also to see players like Sasha Ngomezulu, those players will also represent the country in a very good way.
16:49 Central African Time. This is the Producer's Corner with Andisiwe Fakimalu Mali, as we reflect on the best or big stories on the African continent. The Boks are taking on the Barbarians in the international rugby season. And we also have 4 African teams that were participating at the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. Mamelodi Sundowns, Wydad Casablanca, Esperance de Tunis, Al Ahly of Egypt. African football seems to be showing signs of growth, but we are still not at that level, Mali, of the world. All these teams couldn't make it to the last 16.
Well, it's sad and very unfortunate for the African teams. They've tried their best, Neto. I mean, kudos to those who could represent the continent. And these are the best teams that we currently have in the continent. But obviously, we are a bit behind when it comes to development of players, for an example. So that matters a lot in competition like this. Some of the biggest teams that we know, like Barcelona, didn't make it to this competition. You can mention other big teams across different continents. They didn't make it for this competition. So for those African teams, I take my hat off for them. I think they've tried their best. It wasn't easy. Because, Net, if you look at these teams, I think we've spoken about this before. This is the best of the best when it comes to club football. Mamelodi Sundowns can pride themselves to say they are the 18th best team in the entire planet currently. That is a big thing for an African team, because back in the days you wouldn't even count African teams amongst the best 20 football clubs. So now we have a team like Sundowns, surely your Al Ahly, Wydad Casablanca, they are also probably in the top 50, top 60 in the world. How many teams do you have in the continent alone? So to be in that list, it means a lot. I think this is a good sign. We are not there yet, Neto. And also maybe for African teams to bow out at this stage, it's a sign, to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves, because we're playing in the top tier competition when it comes to club football. Now we think we are the best. So if you look at it in another way, you can say that this is a lesson as well, to say, guys, we are not there yet. That's why we are in the first plane to go out of the USA. Also, talking about USA, the weather conditions were not kind to many teams. We've seen rain disruptions, thunder, also a lot of heat in the USA, Neto. So there were a lot of factors that affected African teams. but it was unfortunate. Mamelodi Sundowns were the closest team. They also have had Moshana speaking to you as well. Their game against Dortmund being his favorite game of the competition so far. It's been very interesting. We are yet to see the defending champions, the likes of Real Madrid, how they will play. We've seen Manchester City being flawless in that competition. They haven't lost any game. They won all their games. We've seen Bayern Munich losing on the last game of the group stages, but making it because of their previous encounters that they won. So we've seen a lot, Neto. For me, the competition hasn't met my expectations. Expected to see a lot of goals because these players are fresh from their past season, just finished a season. They didn't go to break. Obviously, they are a bit tired here and there, but being in this competition is a motivation on its own. The highest paid competition when it comes to football. It surpasses your original World Cup, UEFA Champions League. When it comes to Club World Cup, this is the best paying competition. I'm happy to see more teams, Africa being represented by 4 teams. It also increases our opportunities, to advance in such competitions. So for me, not there yet, but also with the African teams, I'm not too disappointed. It's just a wake-up call to say, guys, we're doing well, but we're not there yet.
If you have just joined us, this is Andy Siwemali, my producer, as we are wrapping up the conversation on the Producer's Corner. Andy Mali, just looking at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations, it is the battle of 12 African nations. We've got Morocco as the host nation, the Atlas Lionesses. They will open the proceedings against the Copper Queens of Zambia on Saturday, the 5th of July at 2200 Central African Time. And Senegalese, the Teranga Lionesses, will take on DR Congo on Sunday the 6th. Nigeria, the Super Falcons, will take on the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia on Sunday the 6th. And Algeria will line up against Southern African outfit Botswana, and South Africa, the reigning champions of WAFCON, will be taking on the Black Queens of Ghana on Monday the 18th. And of course, there's more matches coming up. Mali will take on Tanzania, and it will be 3 matches for each African country in the group stages. Just your thoughts as the vibration is kicking in ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations Morocco 2024.
Very interesting one, Neto. Looking ahead to see what the defending champions will do, because obviously going into a competition of this magnitude, you expect a lot from them. Fortunately, South Africa now, we've seen some players, not traveling, Thembi Kgatlana, due to personal reasons. So I'm not sure the impact it's going to have. Remember now, this team goes in this competition without the likes of Noko Matlo, who have been an iron for the team, a leader, in many ways, playing different position. So we're going to see how it pans out. I'm interested to see countries like Morocco, how will they play this one, because remember, the level of football for the North Africans have been going down and down on different competitions, So to see them in this WAFCON, it will be interesting to see how they plan to win that game against Zambia. I mean, you've recently now on the sports news, you've played the Zambian coach, Nora, talking about how they also want to impress. So every team will like to impress. Also, when it comes to the Southern African countries, I'm looking ahead to see how Botswana will perform in this tournament. It will also be key. But also looking at teams like Tanzania as well, it's an opportunity for these teams to raise their hands and, make their countries proud, So we'll see how it plays out, Nendo. But a very interesting one. I'm very excited on this WAFCON, and I will be following every game just to see how the level of football in the women's games have upped, because I'm sure every country would like to advance to the next stage. But it will be very interesting to see how the defending champions go ahead. Coach Desiree spoke a lot about how she's now, putting younger players, so it's a mix of youth and experience for South Africa. It's not more about experience only. So it's interesting how things will play out, but a very interesting one. I'm very interested, and also I would like our listeners to follow this competition, because it will show you what Africa is made of, and these are the teams that will represent the continent in the global competition. So it's a must-watch for football lovers and sports lovers.
And Dimade, my producer, thank you so much for joining us on Africa at Play for the Producer's Corner.
Thank you very much, Neto.
And that's how we wrap up Africa at Play this edition of Saturday. But worry not, we are together again tomorrow, same place, same time, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Central African Time. A big thank you to our audio streaming visuals team for being with us today. We're talking about Mike Mokwena and Butibi Hlungwane, as well as our social media guru, that is Tumi Lusaba, and my producer Andisiwe Fakimalu Zabona Mali, our technical operator Francis FM Masina. My name is Neto, Neto Chemane. Hosiati konyangazi mumkhatshwa phandle kunjani moyani voko tendele Africa at Play asideleli siyashaya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.